If you're facing any technical difficulties, please call WebEx customer support at 1-866-229-3239 and select option 1. We will answer all the questions at the end of the session, and if you have more questions, you can email me at patrick.boyd@takesolutions.com anytime, and I will make sure that your question is answered or is directed to the appropriate person. The session will be recorded, and the on-demand version will be available by next week. Interested in a one-on-one discussion, please email me or let us know at the end of the presentation. We'll arrange a date and time. Our agenda today, we'll have a brief review of Take Solutions. Then we'll go into our first presentation of predictive business discovery with a brief QlikView demo. And then we'll go into our second presentation with a demo on capacity planning. And it'll be followed by our Q&A. This time, I'd like to introduce your presenters and speakers for today's webcast. Our first presenter today is Elif Tutuk, Technical Product Marketing Manager for QlikTech. Elif has 8 years of business intelligence architect experience and focuses on driving and executing the go-to market strategy for QlikView's enterprise readiness initiatives. Our second presenter today is Kieran Rokem. Kieran is a BI Services Manager at Take Solutions and a member of the Take BI and Analytics Center of Excellence and focuses on advanced data visualization, statistical modeling, and demand management. Today, we'll be focusing on how QlikView and its business discovery capabilities are used by many organizations to make more informed decisions, helping them uncover facts about their business that they couldn't do with traditional static reporting tools. We'll be focusing specifically on QlikView's ability to integrate with systems that can provide statistical computing. This feature can be leveraged to develop predictive analytics and forecasting solutions so that organizations can better plan their resource usage based on those inputs. Take is a technology services firm and a QlikTech partner that helps its clients reduce costs, improve performance, and gain market share by streamlining their processes and leveraging their data for competitive advantage. Take is a globally focused firm with U.S. headquarters in Princeton, New Jersey. We deliver technical and business services across a number of different industry segments, including life sciences, supply chain management, retail, consumer packaged goods, oil and energy, finance, and manufacturing. Take serves over 150 companies in the Fortune 1000. We are a CMMI Level 5 and PCMM Level 3 certified company, and we've been ranked number 1 by one of the top analyst firms for domain expertise in the area of life sciences. Take has over 400 clients that are serviced through 14 global offices, and we have over 1,250 employees. Our revenues for the last fiscal year were $148 million, and revenue has been growing at a compound annual growth rate of approximately 60% over the last 5 years, while net profits have been growing at 69% during the same period. Take's business intelligence practice and our Center of Excellence focuses on working with clients to plan long-term corporate BI strategy, as well as to address tactical needs in the areas of development, upgrades, and resourcing. We also have expertise and resources that focus on all of the major vendor platforms and tools, including Oracle OBIEE, QlikView, SAP Business Objects, Cognos, SAS, and others. Cumulatively, the practice has over 12 years of corporate BI experience, 700 person-years of BI experience within the practice, and over 50 corporate customers. At this point, I'd like to introduce Elif Tutuk for our first presentation.
Thank you very much, Pat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session of Business Discovery and Predictive Analytics with QlikView. In this part of the session, I will first briefly talk about what is predictive analytics, and then I will also touch base about on some of the analyst approach, and then thought on the predictive analytics. And then from there, I will talk about QlikView approach to predictive analytics. So predictive analytics exploit patterns found in historical and transactional data to help people identify risks and opportunities in their business. According to Gartner, predictive analytics is of a great interest to many organizations, but only a small percentage of organizations have made significant progress deploying it. So, of course, the next question that comes to people's mind is, what's the problem deploying using predictive analytics broadly in the organizations? Gartner indicates that making advanced analytics available to an expanded set of users will require a more consumer-oriented approach. The analytics should be available at the point of the decision, and the tools need to become more consumer-oriented with social, collaborative, and mobile capabilities. So with such a shining promise, the question is, why are many organizations yet to employ predictive analytics to improve their business? And we believe there are three main reasons for this. First of all, users are confused about what predictive analytics means. Generally, the predictive term, the term predictive analytics is used to mean predictive modeling, scoring data with predictive models, and forecasting. But however, lately we are seeing that people are increasingly using the term to describe related analytical disciplines such as descriptive modeling and decision modeling or optimization. These disciplines also involve a lot of data analysis, which is widely used in the business for segmentation and decision making, but they have different purposes, and the statistical techniques that are used for them is a little bit different. The second reason is we believe why people are not having difficulties to deploy predictive analytics is it's complicated. Predictive analytics steers together statistics, advanced mathematics, and modeling, and it also adds a heavy dose of data management to create a mixture that some people, actually most of the organization, they hesitate to drink. And the reason for that is many organizations don't know whether predictive analytics is a legitimate business endeavor or it's a science experiment that people will feel like they are not getting a value out of it. And the final thing, and I believe it's the main reason, is business users are left out of the picture. In our view, it's the most common barrier to adoption. The tools and the techniques for predictive analytics are relatively mature. However, business users don't know when and how to use them. And those tools are not available for them while they are making decisions. It's usually a group of people who produce insight for them. And then they are just consuming what has been produced for them. So the use of tools and the process for building predictive analytics and driving insights from the data have been limited to a small number of highly trained and experienced statisticians or analysts. So in this case, business users are again only the end user who passively consume what others produce for them. So we believe as QlikTech that predictive analytics needs to be more pervasive to deliver the significant value and competitive advantage to organizations. Predictive analytics should be part of the decision-making process, and I think we are seeing the same problem that we have already seen with the traditional BI versus business discovery environment. With the traditional BI, also people or the most of the users in the organizations were just consumers. They were the end user. But with QlikView, we changed the game, and now all of those users are not end users. They are business users, and they are every user is a start of a new discovery. And we would like to achieve the same type of thing for predictive analytics. We would like to provide predictive capabilities to everyone in everywhere, just like we are doing with the QlikView applications right now. And with the use of the predictive analytics, we still have the same vision in terms of providing an app model. So the users will be using a purpose-built analytical application to solve a specific business problem. But with the predictive analytics capabilities, now they will also have more insights into the future. But again, within that business discovery environment, with the additional predictive capabilities, they will still be able to make changes and remix and reassemble the data. They will be able to add new data sources and then add additional analytic capabilities. And of course, within that predictive business discovery environment, we are leveraging the all out-of-the-box QlikView capabilities, being that it's still mobile, so they can do the same type of analytics in everywhere. And another important thing is it's still a social and collaborative environment where once they find something interesting with the predictive analytics, they can use the QlikView social and collaborative capabilities to share it with others. So when we look at the core of the predictive analytics and how some of the QlikView capabilities can be leveraged and in an easy way, is the first thing is the bulk of work in the predictive analytics is understanding the relationship in the historical data set. And QlikView associative experience is the perfect fit for that, because as a business user, it's very easy for me to see what's related and what's unrelated within my data. And especially nowadays, we're all talking about the big data. So it's very important for as a user to get the relevant part of the data and then associatively navigate within that data. And of course, with the speed of thought, as a user, I can ask the question, get my answer in the associative way, and then also do some predictions on the data set that I'm interested in. And to be able to do predictions with QlikView, we are using the extensibility capability of QlikView. So we have the capability to integrate QlikView with any third-party tools. And there are mainly three main capabilities that we are leveraging at this stage for QlikView. The first one is the QlikView extension capability. We have many customers who are using either the objective extension objects or the document objects. There's also the COM interfaces that can be leveraged with QlikView to be able to integrate QlikView with any third-party tools. And finally, the QVX and custom connector capability allows people to integrate QlikView with any third-party tool. So at this stage of the demo, I actually would like to show you a demo application. So in this demo application, the demo data set has sales information. And assume that the use case is as a user, I'm trying to optimize my operational cost. And assume as a retailer, I have sales information that's coming from either from the phone or call center or from the internet. So in this case, I'm going to show a demo application that integrates QlikView with R. R is an open source statistical tool that's widely used in the industry. So in this demo, as you will see, as I do business discovery on my data set, and once I find something interesting within my data set, I will pass that data set to R, and then R will do clustering analysis. And once it's done, I will get the cluster result set into in-memory data, and then I will do further business discovery on top of that. So let's start doing my business discovery. In this case, let's say I'm interested with the customers who made purchases through phone. And let's say I'm interested with my top 3 business lines. And assume I'm interested with the customers who are like elderly customers. So I'm picking the customers who are ages are greater than 40. And then let's move to the postal zip code. Here I can see my selected data set with the average retail price and the demand data. So let's say that I'm interested with the zip codes that have high sales. So I made my selection, and I have 116 postal codes that I've selected. Of course, on business on the QlikView application, I can see the average order size, the order count, and the customer count for all of those zip codes. This is all good information, but if now I have 116 zip codes, that will be very good if I can cluster them based on those three metrics. So to be able to do that, I'm jumping to the cluster analysis tab. And when I click on this button, what's going to happen is QlikView is going to pass the selected data set, the 116 postal codes, with the average order size and order count and customer count information to R, to have R do some cluster analysis. So when I click on this button, QlikView is passing the data to R. And now I have my result set right away in here with the cluster information. So if I want to see the number of zip codes, I can see this information in here as well. So the nice thing with this is now the cluster result set is part of my in-memory data, so that I can do further business discovery, meaning that I can pick cluster number 2, and I can see the zip code that's been part of that. But the nice thing with that is, as you can see, I only have one zip code on this cluster, so perhaps it's an outlier. So by using QlikView associative model, I can just do a search on that zip code, and I can deselect that. So now I have deselected that postal zip code. Now I can rerun my cluster analysis and see my result set has been updated. And now I was able to basically exclude that outlier from my analysis. So this is what we mean by predictive business discovery, and this is what Gartner also tells, and this is what we believe. So the advantage of using QlikView is, as I do my business discovery, I can find an interesting data set, and by using the integration capabilities of QlikView, I can pass that data set to any third-party statistical tool, have the tool crunch the data, make the prediction, and I can get the result back into QlikView and then do further analysis. And as a business user, I have the business knowledge to exclude anything from that predictive result set, which I did a couple seconds ago, and I can rerun my predictive analytics, or in this case, it's a clustering analysis, on my data set very easily. So as you can see, I'm the owner and I'm doing the business discovery, and predictive analytics is just a part of it with our integration capabilities. And the final thing that I would like to show, again, as I have the cluster results in my data set, now I can very easily assign those cluster data set into different groups. In this example, I'm using the new QlikView 11 comparative analysis capabilities with the predictive result set. So I can assign the cluster number 2 to my group 1. Now I can do further insights on that cluster. And let's say I'm also interested with cluster 5. I can assign it to group 2. And now those two charts are showing specific information for those two clusters, cluster 2 and cluster 5. That I can do further analysis with that. So again, the point in here is once I have the predictive result set within in-memory data model, I can do further business discovery and, of course, leverage additional QlikView capabilities like comparative analysis or social business discovery on top of that data. So now I would like to stop sharing, and I want to go back to my presentation to pass the presentation to Kiran for him to go with the remaining part of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Alif. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second part of the WebEx today. Today we will be seeing a demo of how we use capacity planning based predictive analytics. Let me start with how predictive analytics is executed at TAKE's Business Intelligence and Analytics Center of Excellence. We have built over a period of time a few predictive algorithms, of which 2 are for demand forecasting. And broadly, demand forecasting can be classified into trend-based and factor-based forecasting. The trend-based forecasting is applicable in a scenario where majority of the factors are either environmental or uncontrollable, for which we use trend seasonality and exponential smoothing model. TSAES is a time series model that uses weighted historical trends and factors for trend smoothing and seasonality. This is an accurate model for cases that tend to trend in one direction over time. We will use this model in today's demonstration. On the other side, we use artificial neural networks for factor-based forecasting, which is widely applicable for accounts where there are many controllable factors. While we built all these algorithms at our Center of Excellence, we overcame the challenges to integrate them with BI tools and also adapt them to a wide set of business functions. For today's demonstration, we will see an example of how predictive analytics can be used in pharmacovigilance in life sciences industry. Pharmacovigilance is defined as the science of collecting, monitoring, researching, assessing, and evaluating information for the healthcare providers and patients on the adverse events of the drugs for patient safety and more information on the drug hazards. The pharma companies needs to report the side effects or the adverse events to the regulatory bodies such as FDA to ensure patient safety. These adverse events raised during clinical trials or during the post-marketing phase are processed by the pharmacovigilance team before submitting them to the regulatory authorities. These submission timelines and the efforts differ by various factors and other parameters such as seriousness, the phase that they origin, the amount of details provided on each case, etc., for which a lot of human intervention is required. Coming to the nature of the workload within EV, it is very irregular and can be driven by various set of factors which can be again classified as internal and external. For instance, internal can be the irregular processes and the unpredictable nature of the study. The policy changes, budget cuts, or any other product launches can also cause change in the workloads. On the other side, there can be any merger activities, etc., or sales promotions, which can increase the workload. There are some of the external factors are like reporting time scales by regulatories, government decisions like vaccination programs, like seasonality. Hence, in essence, the nature of the factors can be summarized as an environmental, unavoidable, and sometimes unforeseen. It is noticed that volumes to be processed continuously increase over time due to tightened regulations, expanding portfolios, the new markets for the products, and the more patients with increased life expectancies. Budget cuts create pressure to reduce costs, leading to processing these higher case volumes with less or the same force. Hence, product complexities are also one of the factors that result in higher level of process complexity, which leads to lower visibility of the future. Due to all these factors, hiring and retaining employees with the right skill set is challenged more and more often. And on the effects of poor capacity planning, it can lead to an inability to deliver over time, which of course would lead to an increased backlog over time. This would expose PV to various risks, like creating unnecessary pressure on the patient safety, legal accountability for the top management, for reporting according to the regulations. Potentially, products can be banned from the market and thereby causing damage to the company or the brand name, and attrition of the skilled personnel due to high work pressure. Now, how do we minimize these risks by getting the right individuals working on the right tasks at the right time? We can do this by building an effective capacity management model. An effective capacity management model should manage the complex function For the first step is to build a well-defined business process to balance capacity and budget. To ensure the right actions are taken at the right time, a clear allocations of the roles and responsibilities are required. Tracking appropriate KPIs for continuous improvement is essential. Reliable toolset that can turn effectively the data into actionable insights can be crucial for effective decision making. We believe that capacity management application is the right tool for capacity planning and management in PV. This tool is part of our safety ready suite and ensures that process delivers the right results. This application extracts the data into its analytical layer from multiple sources like adverse event reporting systems, the HR management systems, or any other legacy systems, and computes the historic performance metrics like the utilization ratios, the average FTE per cases, etc. On the other end, the processed case volumes are sent to the TSAS algorithm and extract the forecasted case volumes. These forecasts can be done at any level of granularity that is desired by the business. And in this case, we are using business dimensions like roles and therapeutic areas and other case attributes. Using these historic performance metrics, the forecasted case volumes, the forecasted FTE can be computed. We will try and see the demo on this application. This is the capacity manning dashboard that we built at our COE. For this demo, we have considered the capacity management for 2 roles and across 7 therapeutic areas. As you can see that I get to see the historical case volumes processed on a monthly basis, as well as the historic resource utilization. I can restrict my analysis to any particular therapeutic area and role combination and see the utilization and other key metrics. Now, these are the filters that I'm using, and we can notice that the green indicates the selections that are made and hence restricting the data which is visualized to the particular selection made. For running the forecast, I get to select the number of months. Let me say I want to see how the capacity volumes will be there in the next 3 months. I click on this button, and the information on the case volumes historically is sent to the TSAS algorithm. This will fetch the forecasted data, which is processed by our analytical engine that is located at our COE server. Now, one such engine can be used across the organization by any business function for the forecasting purposes. Now we can notice the dotted line, extended dotted line at the right end of the chart, indicating the forecasted data. We can also see that the accuracy of the forecasted data model, which is computed by the mean average deviation, which can give us the confidence of the model. Now, at the forecasted FTE shows that for the next 3 months, we are comfortable within the current resource limitations. Probably this is true for the entire as a whole, but I suspect there might be some problem with one particular therapeutic area. As I make selection, I can see that the therapeutic area as a whole is coming close to the current FTE. We can go further and see if any particular role has any problem. And as I make a selection on drug safety technician, we find that there is a resource shortage by about 0.9. The application gives the flexibility for the users to go and search for data where they can find the availability of additional employees to balance the workload. Now, probably this is not completely sufficient for me to do my annual planning. I want to do the forecasting for the next 12 months. It offers the flexibility. And as I run, I can see the entire chart now gets refreshed with the 12-month buckets. Similarly, just like before, we can do all the resource balancing and slice and dice data to look at the potential pitfalls and improve. Now, on top of this, we also offer a slider which can simulate any foreseen market event. Now, let us assume that there is a product launch in a new market, in a new geography, and which would give us an expectation to raise the case volumes for this combination by about 10%. And as we roll around that, we can see the change in the predictive forecasting trend as well as the forecasted FTE. This would offer the business users the flexibility to not only make calls on where the resources are available, but also to make critical sourcing calls on outsourcing and other related activities. Every observation that is made here can be saved and shared across to very other users, and the collaborative model can be leveraged to discover all the business events together. All the data can be exportable to spreadsheets, and as images can be embedded within PowerPoint, which helps the users to use the final discovered information in the meetings or any other further events. This completes the demonstration of this app. Now, this demonstration is only to show the possibility of how one particular function, capacity plan, can be leveraged in one particular business. It can be extended for various other situations within PV itself by including a particular process, or to leverage this for signal detection, or to make sourcing calls versus full-time, part-time recruitment options, and any other factors of the cases, like the severity of the cases or the employee skill level, their experience, and it can be leveraged to any extent. This is a demo just to show the possibility of how predictive analytics can affect one particular business. This is not limiting us to use this model or any other demand forecasting models for any other situations. It can be used in many other businesses and across multiple industries. For instance, like demand simulations for production planning at manufacturing sector, or seasonality and discounting in retail sectors, models depending on the nature of the business factors, etc. This almost brings me to the end of presentation today. I would like to conclude by saying, if rightly used, predictive analytics can be an invaluable asset for our organization in decision making, and at QlikView, we try to simplify the complex subject and thereby simplify the business decision making. Thank you for all your attention. Hope you have enjoyed this session.
Thank you, Elif. I'd like to thank both Elif and Kiran for an excellent overview and presentation on the use of predictive analytics and forecasting. We hope that everybody has benefited from this webcast today. Now we'd like to take questions that have been submitted during the presentation, and so we've been reviewing those, and now we'll go into answering the questions that have been submitted.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. This is Vinu. I hope you all can hear me okay. There's one question from Soumya Bachu. Can data from a spreadsheet be analyzed? What other data sources do you support? Elif, I was wondering if you would be able to answer that. I hope you're on.
Yeah,
not on
sure. Yep, thank you very much, Venu. So QlikView supports actually many data sources. So out of box, QlikView provides the ODBC and OLEDB drivers. So any data sources that supports the ODBC driver will be an automatic data connection data source for QlikView. Other than that, spreadsheets, CSV files, XML files, HTML files are also available as a data source for QlikView. One thing that I would like to mention, which is unique about QlikView, is our custom connection capability. It's a technology called QVX. This technology basically provides a set of APIs that allows our customers or partners to create custom connectors for even non-standard data sources, such as Google BigQuery or Mongo database, Cassandra. So all of the data sources that doesn't have a structured data, or they don't support, even if they don't support SQL, we can still extract data from those data sources. So if you're interested, I highly encourage you to go to Qlik Community and look for the extension and custom connectors. Connections on Qlik Community, and you will find documentation around our APIs and also a list of the existing custom connectors that you can leverage within your environment.
Yeah, on similar lines, another question is this one for Kiran for you is, can our existing models in spreadsheets be reused for these simulations? I think this is in the context of the demonstration of that you gave.
Thanks, Venu. To answer that question, mostly many organizations do use their custom-built models, which are macro-enabled, either in Excel sheets or any other programs. Today, I think we got a good look on how we can use external models in other statistical tools, like Elif demonstrated the integration capabilities with R. It is not just restricted to that. It can be even used in other Excel models. We did do some work on that. Yes, Excel models can be integrated, and not just that. It can be dynamic in nature, depending on the flexibility that needs for the business scenario. It can be extended, and some of it can actually be inbuilt within QlikView itself, so that it would be much faster.
Great, thanks. This other question around, is it possible that you can share the model to us? This is from Mauricio. Mauricio, the model that we have developed is a custom-built, web service that we are using. We can definitely go over the details, with you and what your specific requirement is as to how you plan to use it, and then we can, work out as to how we can share that with you. So do get in touch with us. You can write to Patrick Boyd. We'll have his contact number towards the end as well, and then we should be able to get back to you with specifics on how we can share this with you. So another question, Elif, I think this probably you should address this, is regarding R. Are the packages built in, or do you separately load them? Can you load more R packages that may not be included? This was not clear due to so much noise and this speed. Elif covered everything. So sorry again, I want to apologize to all of you for the background noise. We missed to mute all the attendees, so there was some background noise early on. Elif, would you be able to address that question?
Yeah, sure. On the demo, actually, I already showed the user experience I haven't had the chance to show the backend. So basically, the demo application uses the COM interface of R, and then it uses a VB script that creates a R object, and then it uses that R object to be able to pass the QlikView data to R. And in terms of what models or the functions can be used from R, it's basically all flexible, because once you create the R COM object on QlikView application with a VB script, then there is a specific R command that you can use. It's called evaluate. That basically allows you to run R script from QlikView. So on that demo application, what I've done is basically once I created the COM object, I was able to execute R syntax from QlikView. So that means that any existing model that you have in R, you can call those models, or if you would like to use some of the existing libraries of R and use any, like there are thousands of functions available, you can do that. In the example that I've shown you, that was a clustering example, and I used the K-clustering function that's available from R. And also the instructions, the demo application and the instructions how to set up R integration is available on Qlik Community. So if you go to Qlik Community and do a search on R integration, you should be able to get the instructions, the documentation, and how to document.
Great. Thanks, Elif. There was one more question around where the actual calculation is happening in this model. Is it on the fly? I think we can address that, in both the demos that we have showed. Elif, why don't you go ahead first and explain how it's done in the R context, and then Kiran, you can follow that up as to how that is worked out within the capacity planning application that we have developed.
Sure. So in the R integration example demo, it's basically once we pass the selected data set to R, R does all the crunching and calculation. So to be honest, I don't know how much more clarification I can add. All the application does is to pass the data and call the R function for that data set. And then R does its magic, and then once it creates the result set, what I've done on the demo application we have done is we use the dynamic update capability of QlikView application to be able to get the predictive result set from R and then update the in-memory data model with that information. So in that case, I was running a clustering algorithm on the 116 zip codes. So once R has done its calculation for cluster numbers for each of those zip codes, the application used the dynamic update capability to update the cluster information for each of those zip codes on the in-memory data model. And that's how I was able to do further selections and business discovery on the predictive result set. And in this case, it was the cluster number.
Great. Yeah.
Yes, this would be in capacity planning demonstration. It is more just like Elif did, except for the application is not R, and the application route is through a web service. There is we have few of our algorithms hosted at our center of excellence. What we did is we parsed the data in QlikView, and there is a macro which sends the data to the web service. The web service processes the data and passes the information back to QlikView, and we are using the dynamic update functionality again to update QlikView's memory, and the response can be seen on screen.
Okay, great. In both cases, the calculation when it comes to the clustering in case of Elif, as well as when it comes to forecast data in case of the capacity planning application, the calculation definitely is happening on the fly, and the results are passed back to QlikView, and then the dynamic update functionality is leveraged within QlikView to refresh the visualizations within the QlikView application. All right. This is so. Another question is, so let's say I have a predictive model with 3 scenarios. After some time, I want to add in one more scenario. How easy is it to do this? Elif, would you be able to?
Yeah, sure. In that case, all the developer needs to do is to make change on the VB script. So instead of calling 3 scenarios, they will add a fourth one, and they just need to add the R syntax within that VB script to call that specific R model. So one thing that I want to mention, the integration solution, of course, the predictions are done on the R within the R tool, and we are just leveraging QlikView integration capability to get that predictive result set into the QlikView application. So I would say that some R knowledge is required, but as R is an open source predictive tool, it's very easy to find knowledge and resources on the web. In fact, the example that I've shown you, I use some of the resources available to get the K clustering working. So, but going back to the question, all the developer needs to do is to make changes on the VB script to be able to add that fourth model.
Yeah. So similarly, on the web service that we have built is based on the statistical model that we have applied, and as Elif mentioned, it's a custom web service that we have built, and we will definitely be able to accommodate additional scenarios as required. And also with respect to the statistical model that we have used, Kiran has already outlined that it is TSAES. We can definitely look at other statistical models that you might want to, leverage. So another question is, how easy is it to do regression testing of the simulation? Elif, any idea?
As far as I'm not a statistician, so but
I can answer that.
Okay, I guess you just need to find a model within R that does regression testing simulation, and you need to leverage that. Would be my answer.
Go ahead.
I can answer.
Can add on? Yeah, please.
Yes. See, at our COE we have about 8 to 9 models, and one of them is regression. And linear regression is in fact supported by native QlikView functionality itself. You can do a basic forecast and backcast using up to, I think, 4th order of polynomial equations. Beyond that, you have to look for external tools. And in most of the scenarios, the predictive analytics, we will be running on a very limited set of data. You will not be loading on a huge set of data. So the algorithm always is mostly static. In very, very social cases, like looking at a marketing event or something, only there we would be looking at multiple models, because the business is always very dynamic in nature.
Okay. Hope that addressed that question. The other, one more question is around, does a developer need to know VB script? Is QlikView not a GUI tool? I think they were referring to the integration with R. Elif, do you want to address that?
Yeah, this solution is very specific for R. QlikView is a graphical user interface tool. So it's most of the capabilities on QlikView to do development is drag and drop, and very easy by using just the property box to set up things. But on the example that I've shown you is I leveraged the additional capabilities of QlikView because from a QlikView application you can run a macro, and on the macro you can either use one of the language that you can use is VB script. So to be able to do these types of in this example we have used our VB script. In terms of integration capabilities, like if you look at the QlikView extension capabilities, again, to be able to use those extension capabilities just like another tool, then you're still looking at using JavaScript or any HTML type of capabilities to be able to do integration. I think it's the nature of the integration is once you start integrating any tool with any other tool, you will be looking some of the programming languages to be able to do that.
Thanks, Elif. And I think even in case of the capacity planning application, the integration, as Kiran mentioned in his presentation, is done through a macro that basically makes the call to the web service to send the data and pull the revised data back and then refresh the visualizations within QlikView. One final question I would say before we close out is in terms of the accuracy of these algorithm, Kiran, I think they're referring to specifically the capacity planning application. We were displaying the accuracy in terms of percentage. Can you throw some more light on that?
Yes, Venu. In the capacity planning application, what we are doing is we will run two set of forecasts. One forecast for the future and one for the current period. For the current period, we will use the information that is prior to the current period. Let's say we have historic data for 3 years. We will use the first 2 years data to forecast the third year data. And so for the third year data, we have the forecasted volume and the actual volumes. We will see the accuracy level using comparing those two data sets. And that's what is displayed there, the mean average deviation. Does that answer more, give more details?
Yeah, no, I think that's good at least for now. So again, thanks for participating in our webinar, and apologies for the audio quality early on, and we'll definitely take better care of it. And as you can see here, we have given you the contact information. You can write to Pat for any further inquiries and follow-on questions, that in case if you have further clarifications. Also, the on-demand webinar would be available within the next week. You will all receive an email with the link so that you can download it or at least view it if you would like. And we also do these webinars on a regular basis. And if you have a specific topic that you would like us to cover, please do drop in a note to Lisa Zox. She is our Director for Marketing. We'd appreciate all your time, and you all have a good day. Thank you. Bye.